Gabrielle Henderson, thank you so much for joining me tonight. I appreciate your time very much.
Sure, of course. Thanks for having me. I appreciate it.
Yeah, my pleasure. And you've got a very interesting story. But first, I just want to kind of brief everyone on what's going on right now in our area. So a Sangamon County judge recently issued a restraining order preventing enforcement of a statewide mask requirement in schools throughout Illinois, claiming that Governor J.B. Pritzker overstepped his legal authority by implementing such a mandate. In many districts, not knowing exactly whose ruling to follow at the moment, either the state's mandate or the downstate judge's ruling that prohibits such a mandate, have opted to go mask recommended but optional status as a result. And Gabrielle, you have 3 children going to school in District 429 in Pontiac, and all of them have been sent home in the past 2 days. So please, if you would, tell me a little more about those events and how and why that happened.
Sure. And you're correct there. We have 3 children currently in the District 429 schooling system. So this all kind of took place over the last few days. So Saturday night, after the ruling was made on Friday, we started emailing the school board along with the different principals and superintendent at the school system. And on Sunday, after not really receiving any sort of response, we tried to email again, just advising that on Monday, February 7th, our children would not be wearing masks in school any longer, given the recent ruling. Our school at this time has not opted to make masks optional for students, but in an effort to proceed with the recent ruling, we thought that we should leave this option up to our children when they went to school on Monday. So Monday morning, we took our kids to school. My husband dropped them off as we normally would. And we received phone calls from my son's school and my youngest daughter's school within probably a half hour of dropping them off, advising that they were not compliant with wearing their masks and that we would need to pick them up. At that point, we requested some sort of documentation for them being sent home, with the reasoning specifically outlined that they were being sent home due to not complying with the mandates that were previously enforced. And we picked them up, took them home, and that's pretty much how Monday went. So on Tuesday, we proceeded with the same agenda. The kids have been advised basically that this is their choice if they would like to wear the mask or not. And all 3 of my children this morning opted to not wear a mask. And again, we received phone calls to pick them up within a half hour of school starting and dropping them off. And we again received letters for all 3 of them this time.
Mm-hmm. What happened with the third one that didn't get sent home on Monday?
So she is my oldest, and she did elect to wear a mask. I received an email from the principal at that school that she had made a choice to wear the mask, which again, we left that decision up to them. When she got home, she did say that when she walked in without her mask on, she was a little bit nervous. She said there were quite a few people looking at her, and when she was asked to put the mask on, she went ahead and placed it on. I think just due to nervousness and not really being too sure about it. So.
Right. And so it seems like Pontiac wasn't trying to keep it a secret or anything. You did know that they, as you know, different schools can choose whether or not they're going to make masks optional or not. And you knew ahead of time that Pontiac was, in fact, mask required, right?
Correct. They have not made that decision yet to go optional.
Understood. Okay. So I'm curious, you more or less knew what you were kind of getting yourself into, and you had a reason behind telling your kids that, it's your decision and you want to kind of stand with the decision of the judge, and you don't appreciate Governor J.B. Pritzker's mandate, I would assume, and that's the case. But were any other parents or were any other children more so in line with your thinking and your children's thinking? Did anyone else go to school without masks?
Sure. So I recently became part of a group that was created just for Pontiac 429 students. I know on Monday, there was a father that had commented in the group that he had sent his kid to school with no mask. However, his assumption was that his child opted to have the mask that was provided for him placed on. They did never receive a phone call. But today I was advised that there was another woman that had sent her two daughters to school with the choice also being left up to them. And she had one daughter that was actually sent home today.
What can you tell me, and this might be a bit of a tricky question for you, but what can you tell me about the general consensus among parents of kids in Pontiac schools? Would you say that most people share your opinions, or are you the minority in not wanting, or at least wanting masks to be optional or not required? Or is it relatively split down the middle? What can you tell me about that?
To be honest about that, I haven't, until the last few days, I really haven't seen a lot of, I guess, people being outspoken about where they feel, lie with this decision or how they feel about it. I do have a lot of personal friends that have voiced that they agree with the decision that's been made and disagree with the fact that Pontiac has not made this decision yet. But it's very hard for me to say. I would say at this point, I feel that we're kind of the minority. But I just think that's because people haven't come out to speak up a little bit. So,
right. People are going to most people are going to follow the rules that are in place now rather than go with what they feel. You know, it's a bravery thing. It's a courage thing, but it's also a rule following thing. And it's not like they're necessarily wrong necessarily. You know, it's people think differently. And I want to ask also then, you mentioned that Pontiac hasn't made a decision. A lot of schools have, more or less. Do you know anything about when they plan on making this decision about whether or not to require masks?
Sure. So we were recently sent an email that they are holding a school board meeting tomorrow night at 6 p.m. However, we've been advised that there is likely not going to be any decision made until the 17th. And the reasoning behind that was due to the appeal that was made on behalf of Pritzker against the judge's ruling. So I think that they're kind of waiting at this point until they know what happens with that appeal motion that was filed.
Understood. And you mentioned this to me, and I don't know if you can really say anything about it, but you said that someone in a leadership position at your son's school said something very interesting to you. And I was wondering if you could tell us more about that. And if you can't, just let me know.
Sure. I will just say that we were just given some encouragement to keep pushing for what we felt was right for our children.
As we kind of wind this talk down, what exactly would you like to see as a parent happen in schools in your district, District 429?
I would just like to see some sort of a decision or maybe an insight as to what may occur with the school board meeting tomorrow night. I think that will kind of give us a little bit of a better idea as to where they're headed with everything. But personally, I just want it to be left up to the parents and the children as to how they would like to handle attending school, mask or no mask.
And just curious here, what are your kids going to do tomorrow, do you think?
We're probably going to go the same route we did the last 2 days. But again, I've left that decision up to them. If they decide that they would like to wear a mask to be in school throughout the day, then they can do so.
Understood entirely. All right. Well, unless you have anything else to say, Gabrielle, thank you so much for your time and your very valuable insight. I appreciate it very much, as will everyone who watches this video, I'm sure.
You're welcome. And thank you again for having me.
My pleasure. Thank you so much for watching that special and short episode of The Paul Garcia Show. If you'd like to see more coverage like this, consider subscribing to my YouTube channel, liking my page on Facebook, and following me on Instagram. And most importantly, share this video to get the word out. Additionally, if you'd like to support the show, you can become a patron on patreon.com/Paul Garcia. And if you'd like to donate to the show, you can do so on the Venmo app at username The Paul Garcia Show. Until next time, I'm your host, Paul Garcia. God bless and have a great week.